Glinda might not be able to do magic, but don't underestimate her power in Wicked 2. A lot has been made about Glinda not being able to do magic in Wicked, but that doesn't mean you should underestimate her power in Wicked, for good. Although Glinda the Good is portrayed as a real witch in The Wizard of Oz, her reinterpretation in the Wicked book, musical, and now movie included a different take. In each instance, Glinda is not a real witch, as she has limited magical powers, if any at all. She instead mostly uses the wizard's technological advancements to mimic sorcery and trick everyone in Oz into believing that she can do magic. The reason why Glinda can't do magic in Wicked boils down to how the movie switches up who can have these abilities. Whereas Elphaba was born with magical powers and Madame Morrible learned to use magic, Glinda is not gifted these abilities at birth and lacks the potential to become a true witch, at least in Morrible's mind. Wicked cut a scene that explained Glinda's lack of magic by exploring how she doesn't really need these powers. Despite her lack of magical powers, Glinda not having magic is vital for Wicked, for good and for uncovering her true power. Glinda not being able to do magic is key to her Wicked 2 arc. Glinda's desire to do magic is one of the earliest character details given to her in Wicked's main story. Her interest in training under Madame Morrible, getting a wand through Elphaba's help, and siding with Morrible points to her continuing that pursuit. However, Glinda will not learn magic in Wicked, for good. Although there is some precedent for Glinda doing magic in the original book, the Broadway musical that more directly inspired the movie changed a key component. This is due to Elphaba, not Glinda, enchanting the magic slippers Dorothy eventually gets. Wicked 2 is expected to do the same. Without the ability to actually do magic, Glinda is left in a difficult position for the next part of the story. She'll work alongside the wizard and Madame Morrible as they attempt to defeat Elphaba, the Wicked Witch of the West. This is how she gets the technological tricks to convince Ozians she is magical. She's ultimately used by the wizard and Morrible to push their agenda against Elphaba since Glinda is so popular with the natives. Instead of achieving magic powers, she gains power through her influence and popularity. Wicked 2 will show why Glinda is still powerful without real magic powers. Glinda might not be able to beat Elphaba or Morrible in a magic duel, but Wicked 2 is going to show that she's still just as powerful as them. Her popularity within Oz makes her one of the most influential voices in all the land. That gives her an opportunity to sway public opinion with anything she says. It also means that it's difficult to challenge Glinda or try to villainize her, as was done to Elphaba, because everyone in Oz will not turn on her. She's ultimately the beloved hero and voice of truth. That's how Glinda's power will come into play in Wicked, for good. Her journey will lead to a moment where she must stand up for what she feels is right. This results in challenging the wizard and Morrible. Arguably, she's the only person who could do this. The wizard is the most popular and powerful figure in Oz and Wicked, but that will not be the case by the time Wicked, for good ends. Glinda ultimately will usurp him and position herself to be the next leader of Oz after the wizard's unexpected departure. Glinda's true power is much better than her having actual magic abilities. While there is still a chance that Glinda gains true magic powers in Wicked, for good, the idea of the sequel cementing that her real power is her popularity is a better decision. These two Wicked movies are about self-discovery for both Elphaba and Glinda, as they are both on journeys of understanding their place in the world and how powerful they are individually and together. Wicked is already taking on literal magic powers through Elphaba's story, so doubling down on that with Glinda could make their stories too similar. It can also give her a chance to realize that she doesn't need magic to make a difference. It's better for Glinda and Wicked, for good if her power is ultimately the influence and popularity she has. Not only is a direct payoff for the popular song and Glinda's view of what makes important people powerful, but it can also give her a chance to realize that she doesn't need magic to make a difference. Her popularity is her true power, and she can do a lot more good with it than if she had magic powers. This could even help put parts of Wicked in a new context, depending on how well Wicked for Good pulls off Glinda's arc.